Station 3.
Hi, Charlie and Warren. My name is Chris Reese. I'm here with a group of MBA students from the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. In recent years, business schools have taken a lot of blame for some of the recent state of the economy. What would you suggest to change the way that business leaders are trained in our country?
Well, I wouldn't, I don't know, Charlie, I wouldn't blame business schools particularly for most of the ills, would you? I think they've taught the students a lot of nonsense about investments, but I don't think that's been the cause of great societal problems. What do you think?
No, but it was a considerable sin.
Well, do you want to elaborate on what was the more sinful?
No, but I think business school education's improving.
Is the implication from a low base, or?
Yes.
I'd agree with that. No, in investing, I would say that probably the silliest stuff that we've seen taught at major business schools probably has been, maybe it's because it's the area that we operate in, but it has been in the investment area. I mean, it is astounding to me how the schools have focused on sort of one fad after another in finance theory, and it's usually been very mathematically based. When it's become very popular, it's almost impossible to resist if you hope to make progress in faculty advancement. Going against the revealed wisdom of your elders can be very dangerous to your career path at major business schools. And really investing is not that complicated. I would have, a couple of courses. I would have a course on how to value a business, and I would have a course on how to think about markets. And I think if people grasp the basic principles in those two courses, that they would be far better off than if they were exposed to a lot of things like modern portfolio theory or option pricing. I mean, who needs option pricing, to be in an investment business? And that, when people, when Ray Kroc started McDonald's, I mean, he was not thinking about the option value of what the McDonald's stock might be or something. He was thinking about whether people would buy hamburgers, and what would cause them to come in, and how to make those fries different than other people's, and that sort of thing. It's totally drifted away. The teaching of investments. I look at the books that are used sometimes, and there's really nothing in there about valuing businesses. And that's what investing is all about. If you buy businesses for less than they're worth, you're going to make money. And if you know the difference between the businesses that you can value and the ones that you can't value, which is key, you're going to make money. But they've tried to make it a lot more difficult, and of course that's what the high priests in any particular arena do. They have to convince the laity that the priests have to be listened to. Charlie?
Well, the folly creeps into the accounting too. A very long-term option on a big business you understand, the stock of a big business that you understand, or even a stock market index, should not be. The optimal way to price it is not by using Black-Scholes. And yet the accounting profession does that. They want some kind of a standardized solution that requires them not to think too hard. And they have one.
Is there anybody we've forgotten to offend? If you'll send a note up. Okay, station 6.
Good morning, Warren and Charlie. Glad you're feeling well. My name is Ryan Boyle, and I'm 26 and working for a private equity firm in Chicago. If you were me and had the chance to start over, what areas would you look to get into? And Do you think that my generation will have the same number of opportunities as yours? And if not, would you look to focus on emerging markets?
Oh, I think you have all kinds of opportunities. I would probably do very much what I have done in life, except I'd try and do it a little earlier, and I would have tried to be a little bit better when I was running a partnership in terms of aggregating the money faster. I used to work with $5,000 contributions from partners, and I would try to develop an audited record of performance as early as I could. I would try to attract some money, and then when I'd build up a fair amount of money out of investing, I would try to get into something much more interesting, which would be buying businesses to keep. Now, you mentioned private equity, which very often is buying businesses to sell, but I don't want to be buying and selling businesses. I mean, if I establish relationships with people that come to me with their business and they want to join Berkshire, I want it to be for keeps. And that's been enormously satisfying. But it takes some capital to get into that business, and I didn't have any capital when I started out, so I built it through managing money for myself and other people combined. And like I say, I would get us through that process as fast as I could, and then into a game where I could buy businesses of significance and interest to me, and then I'd spend the rest of my life doing it just as I've done. Charlie?
Well, I've got nothing to add to that either.
And I do it with Charlie, incidentally.
While being a public company CEO, should some of the political dialogue be somewhat muted for the betterment of the company and its share price?
Yeah, that's a question that's raised frequently. But I really, in the end, I don't think that any employee of Berkshire, I don't think that the CEOs of any of the companies that we own stock in should in any way have their citizenship restricted. And I mean, we did not. When Charlie and I took this job, we did not decide to put our citizenship in a blind trust, and people are perfectly willing. It's fine if they disagree with us. I think it's kind of silly. I don't know the politics of necessarily of Ken Chenault or Muhtar Kent or John Stump. I got a pretty good idea with Kovacevic at one time. But they run these businesses in which we have Ginny Rometty. I mean, we got 11 or 12 billion dollars with her. I don't know what her politics are, and I don't know what her religion is. She's got all kinds of personal views, I'm sure, that probably are better than mine, but it doesn't make any difference. I just want to know how she runs the business. And I really think that 84-year-old man making a decision on what he invests in based on who he agrees with politically, it sounds to me like he ought to own Fox. Charlie?
Well, I want to report that Warren's view on taxes for the rich has reduced my popularity around one of my country clubs.
If it keeps him from hanging around the country club, I'm all for it.
And it's a disadvantage I'm willing to bear in order to participate in this enterprise.
Yeah. Charlie and I, we don't disagree on as many things as you might think, but we certainly have disagreed on some things over 53 years. It's never, we've never had an argument in 53 years, and maybe you can get one started here if you work on it. But it's irrelevant. I mean, roughly half of the country is going to feel one way, this November, and the other half's going to feel a different way. And if you start selecting your investments or your friends or your neighbors based on trying to get people that agree with you totally, you're going to live a pretty peculiar life, I think.